I am Priyadarshini Senthilkumar, Technical Marketing Engineer from the Switching TME team. In today's session, we'll talk about optimizing client authentication event logs as a part of the AOS-CX 10.13 update. So, this is a very small feature enhancement, and we'll talk about the overview details and how it is configured. So, let's move on to the overview. Let's first look at the feature details. So, as a part of this 10.13 update, additional event logs have been implemented for radius access requests and response to the switch, which means that the event logs will now log the address and which means that these logs address the need for comprehensive tracking in scenarios where radius servers are involved and provide better visibility to Central. So prior to this, in the event logs, whenever there is a MAC authentication or an 802.1x authentication, the radius server details was not involved. So one main thing that this feature is resolving is that it involves the radius server details and the request and response from which server it comes from. And why is this important? Enabling the radius server's details in the event logs is important because it enhances the performance or platform's ability to capture and log critical information during authentication process. And this is true in case of both 802.1x as well as MAC authentication. And this feature is supported on all port access platforms, right from 10,000 to 8,000 series switches, and also in the AOS-CX switch simulators. This event log details or the data will be reported to CNX in future. So there is a single CLI that is being configured to enable the radius server IP or the radius server details in the event logs. It is nothing but the port access event-log client. So this is the new CLI as a part of the 10.13 that was introduced. And here I have taken my 6300 VSF where I am just doing a show radius-server command to show the particular radius server that I am associated with for my 802.1x and MAC authentication. So that it'll be easy for us to check if this particular radius server is present in the event logs. So a few details regarding the event logs are that these are the fields that are being enabled or modified. So we have the port client event MAC auth request and response received. Similarly for the .1x authentication request and response received. So these are the 4 fields that needs to be looked at. So here is an example of event logs captured for MAC and 802.1x authentication that logs the radius server details as a part of this feature update. So here you can see that in my first set of event logs, 802.1x authentication is triggered for this particular client with the MAC address on the interface 1/1/1, and my radius server details as shown earlier is the cpp.tmelab.net through the VRF management. It also has the equivalent authentication succeeded response for this particular request. Similarly, we also have the MAC authentication triggered for the client with that particular MAC address on the interface 1/1/1, and here it also again logs the radius server details. Similarly is the case for the response as well. So this is a very small feature where only the radius server details have been enabled as a part of the event logs. So this is how the event log should look once you enable this feature as a part of the 10.13. Thank you for watching the session.